All right. Well, welcome back to the Becoming Better with Startup Experts podcast. My name is Payal. I'm a longtime Startup Experts member. We are live taping from Transform 2026, and I'm thrilled to have one of our sponsors here to talk to us. Well, Dutta, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for supporting the Startup Experts community. I will give you a second to introduce yourself and the organization you work for, and then we'll go from there.
Uh, Thank you, Payal. Um, I work for Pebble,
Okay.
and Pebble is AI-powered employer of record service, and we help speed up global hiring in 185 countries, and we do it compliantly. And that's one of our amazing specialities, that people can hire and be at peace of mind to hire anywhere in the world.
Amazing. Now you just got off stage, so we're getting you fresh off of a panel. Tell me a little bit about what was your panel called, and then what were some of the takeaways that the audience walked away with?
So our basic theme of the panel was, as people are deploying AI, who ultimately owns the risk? And we had a wonderful discussion. It was super robust. And at the core of it, I think we explored many topics, deploying people, technology. But I think the overall summary came to three important topics. The technology is changing very fast. So the reality is, how do you kind of like take risk and measure risk? Obviously, at the company level, you need a governance structure. I think everybody knows that. You should have a framework, committees, policies, a legal framework. But that is necessary, but not sufficient. The second thing they talked about is we all need to be very mindful of how we deploy this technology. And while we all get excited about the efficiency we get when we deploy the technology, we should expect more. It's not a trade-off really between efficiency and quality or efficiency and judgment. We need to spend the time to expect both efficiency and quality and judgment, all of it.
Okay.
So the panel was kind of came to the conclusion that when you deploy something like this, you just have to invest the time. And the way you do that is you put a human in the middle to verify, you put a human in the middle to bump up that quality, and you just don't let the AI loose. So to the topic of how you balance that risk, it's not like you deploy and you just let something loose in the world. You balance out that risk.
Yeah.
And the third point that came out, which I thought was so obvious, but also not so obvious.
Yeah.
Everybody said, at the end of the day, this technology is moving so fast.
Yeah.
The people who will see the real risk are the people who are doing the work. So one of the panelists talked about that they had given their team the ability to vibe code and everything else. And they had a group of 12 team members, cross-functional, that would help them deploy if they had questions, et cetera, et cetera. And what they found was people who are vibe coding, deploying, they came and started talking about, hey, we're going to deploy this. Is this going to violate some company policy? And when they unpacked it, it was because the company had a culture around extreme ownership.
Okay.
So it goes back to the first principle. You do need to build a culture of great ownership, a culture that celebrates risk-taking, but also has the culture of, if you see something wrong, you say something about it.
Amazing. What is there anything you wish was covered in the panel that you guys did? Because these are like fast panels.
I know.
So
I know the there were quite a few questions that came from the audience,
Yeah.
which I wish we had a little bit more time to explore. And one of the topics that came up was like, hey, as you are putting in these types of technologies in your organizations,
Right.
are you actually putting in confidential data? How are you putting in confidential data? What are the risks in that?
Yeah.
And we were talking about this a little bit after the panel because,
Right.
we got to know each other a little bit. And what was interesting was all the panelists have chosen to put in paid solutions, not the free version of ChatGPT or Claude or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
Everybody has taken paid solutions. Everybody has gone through their internal infosec, but they have taken measured steps to put in confidential information in there, test it out, and taken those steps to
Yeah.
see, hey, nothing bad is happening before releasing it. So companies are taking those steps internally to put in some confidential data, maybe not all confidential data, but business planning data as an example,
Yeah.
because you have projections, you're running numbers, all of that stuff, and you want to get a better forward-looking projection, and you are using some AI to get a better understanding of that. So people are using confidential data for sure in their own
In their like instances that are paid and
instances.
where the model's not training the
Exactly.
data. I want to switch gears just for a moment.
Of course.
You guys support the startup experts community, and so I've been talking about that all day. But tell me, where startup experts and Pebble but tell me a little bit more about the synergies that you see within the startup experts community and what solutions you can provide us, because this organization is full of in-house, sometimes, many times, team of ones at startups. So you got HR, finance, ops folks that are running multiple functions. What does Pebble help us do?
Yeah. So one of the things I think Pebble can help uh, all of you all be better at is you are providing as a one-stop shop,
Yeah.
a consultant to many growing businesses.
Yeah.
You're also the trusted advisor to a lot of these startups and founders. When I see is whenever you have that trusted relationship with someone else, eventually their business, their idea starts to grow. And hopefully you grow with them, you're helping them grow. I think hiring in different places is absolutely an option. I think Pebble is a way to make sure that it's an option that is available to the founder, that they know that, hey, if you want to ramp up your hiring, this is an option that is available, and that's a value add you can provide. The other way that we obviously can provide help to you all is we have many resources. One of our greatest resources, Alfie, it's an AI assistant that is available on our website. Whenever you all have any questions around compliance, around esoteric like laws, around what to do, around leave policies, anything else that you're not sure of, come to our website, check it out.
Okay.
You'll have instant answers for pretty much any HR questions on our website.
Amazing.
And this is information that people go to legal entity, legal offices and pay for, and it's available literally at your fingertips.
That is awesome, because yes, I so often in my world, it's like, what obscure new law passed in what state, and then what do we do to comply with it, right? So not just EOR and different countries, but also like U.S. law and international law.
Exactly. Somebody asks you, like a very simple question. Hey, I want to hire like a salesperson.
Right.
How much should I pay them?
Interesting.
You have an answer on our website, and it's for free.
Wow. Okay. So beyond just the compliance and the legal stuff. Have you been to Transform before?
This is my first time at
Your first
Transform.
time. Okay. Tell us your perspective so far. What
I've
have
been,
you been surprised by, and what's...
I read about the conference, obviously. I saw some videos and things like that. And the organization has done a wonderful job of curating content, making the content relevant. And everybody who has come in, I think the topic is very timely about the impact of AI and the human connection. So every participant I have met so far, everybody is trying to learn from each other. So it's not just about the session, it's about the community. And that's what has been like really wonderful to be here and experience that.
What is something that you're going to noodle on or keep thinking about once you leave?
I think there are two things that I really am going to take back from me.
Yeah.
One, I've learned a lot about the number of things that are going on, which not just the technology aspect, the people aspect that I think all of my colleagues are wrestling with. And a lot of them are more around change management and the helping people cross this chasm. We talk so much about the AI technology and the evolution and all of that stuff. And it's been sort of like a different approach. How do we help people manage this change? So I think that's going to be something I'm really going to be taking back with me. And the second thing, I definitely have come across quite a bit of like technology that and problems that I was not even aware of that I'm now aware of. For example, I didn't realize how much of a fraud and a deep fake problem there was going on with interviewing. I just did not even know that that was an actual problem. And I learned about that problem. So I learned about some risks and I've learned about some change management things. So I think it's been a wonderful, wonderful learning journey for me.
Amazing. Well, we have to wrap. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your support of Startup Experts. I appreciated many of the points you made, and we kind of covered a lot of topics. So thank you. And thank you for all of you who watched us. Startup Experts community of 2,500, HR, finance, and legal folks and operations folks, all dealing with many of the issues that you're talking about and keeping the human in the loop. So thank you for your thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you, Pyle.
Of course. Yeah. All right.